after this up was drunk.
Oh.
And he stitched this eyebrow shut without any shot of Novocaine or anything else. He just took a needle and catgut and started stitching.
Oh my gosh.
And that hurt worse than the doggone cut did.
I'll bet.
Oh, Youngstown was one of the places we used to box an awful lot. There was a big arena there on Federal Street. And whenever the Leasure boys were boxing there, he would pack the arena.
Oh my gosh. It's because you guys were so good looking.
Well, yeah, we were. There's no
No denying that.
Oh, yeah, we were good looking. And all of us. At least we attracted the women. And Conneaut Lake, they had a boxing show just about every week, and we could figure on picking up $50 or $100 a piece.
Oh my gosh. Now, you told me once that you got to go to a world fair.
Oh my gracious.
How old were you when that?
I must have been 16, 17 years old. I'd have to figure it out.
Yeah.
But it was the Chicago World's Fair. And we went in 1933, and then we went back in 1934. And we only went maybe $5, $10, something like that each. But our train fare, my dad would get us passes there. And the train station was on the loop, right near the fairgrounds. So we paid our way in. We didn't come out the whole time we were there. We went down along the lake and would hide down there. And there was Lester, Paul, and it must have been Albert. I don't remember Russell being with us. But Albert was just he was a little youngster. And he'd get nervous and scared down underneath those rocks. And these were huge rocks. They would be as big as, well, they were made like caves under there.
Oh my gosh.
And we weren't the only ones. There were a lot of people did this.
Is that right?
And then we'd go to the concession stands after the fair had opened the next day. And that's what we spent our money on, was getting something to eat. And we got to see Sally Rand because we sneaked in on that.
Did you really see her?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And Lester had a demonstration of television. Now this was color television. This is 1933.
Oh my word.
And they had a big studio set up there. And the cameras and all, and they had huge screens. And they would talk to the different people they were interviewing and asking questions about where they came from and all that, and how they liked the fair and what have you. But Lester was selected to be one of the persons interviewed. Mm-hmm. And the rest of us sat out in the audience and watched it. And that was the first television we ever saw.
Oh my gosh.
And that was so many years before television ever went commercial.
Right. That's really
But Sinclair, I think it was Sinclair Gas, our oil company, had a huge dinosaur display. That used to fascinate us. And because they found eggs out in the desert out west, that some of them had started to crack open and break open, and it was part baby dinosaurs coming out.
Oh my gosh.
And they had these actual things right there at the fair.
Oh, I bet that was fascinating.
I was trying to think. There was so many interesting things that I think we spent 6 days there. We were only supposed to spend 3. I think we spent 6 days.
Oh my gosh.
Now we bought nothing other than food.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have that kind of money.
Right.
Now the next year we went back. Of course, I think we took Russell that second year.
Oh my gosh.
And we'd hide down under the rocks, same as we had the year before.
What train line did your dad work for?
He worked for Pennsylvania, but it connected with the Burlington, and he could get a pass on the Pennsylvania and the Burlington both.
Oh
and the Burlington went right into Chicago to the fair, almost to the fairgrounds.
Oh my word. we talked about Jim Crow yesterday. Is there anything else you remember about him?
There's a couple little items I recall. Uh, Jim Crow became a pet to everyone immediately on getting it. He liked the attention, and everybody was giving him tidbits to eat, cookies and stuff like that that he especially enjoyed. But his favorite was my dad. And he would ride on my dad's shoulder or up on the hat sometimes. Just about any place he wanted to go, my dad went, Jim Crow went. And he would, if my dad wouldn't talk to him, Jim Crow would reach over and grab him by the ear. And he'd give it a little tuck. As soon as my dad would start talking to him, well, he'd let go of it. It was just an attention getter is all it was. One time I do remember, when Dad planted onions, he scooped the center of the furrow up, so it made a ridge. And then he had a peg that he would stick down in there and then drop the onion down in that hole. And this one time, Jim Crow had been up in the yard while we started planting onions. And I would take that peg and I'd make the little hole. My dad would come along behind, he'd drop the onion in and then close a hole in after it. And we went down one row and come back on the other one. And as we got through, my dad says, "Oh, I'm so glad that's done. My back's killing me." And he turned around and there was Jim Crow coming back up that second row, pulling each onion out and laying it down beside the hole. That's about all I remember about Jim Crow.
Oh, it was a pretty colorful pet. But the Leasure family had a lot of colorful people in it. You mentioned something about, was it Gracie?
Or you mean Gracie and the bananas and the apples and stuff?
Right, right.
Well, Dad would buy a full stock of bananas, and he'd hang them down in the basement. We had a stone basement, and he'd hang a stock of bananas to the rafters down there. He would buy it almost green, so that it took a while to ripen. And we weren't supposed to go down and get him any of those bananas unless it was for dinner or breakfast or something like that. And then Mother or Dad would go get the bananas and bring them up. Well, what we used to do was to talk Anna into going down and getting the bananas or the apples or whatever it was we were interested in that was down in the basement. Anna wore real long bloomers that were elastic at the knee and of course at the waist. And she would get a banana for each of us, and with what, 5 or 6 of us at that time, she'd put these bananas down her pant legs, down in those bloomers, and then haul them up, and she'd drop her long dress down over, and nobody could tell that she had bananas in there until she'd get up, and then we'd go up behind the grapevine, and then she'd start passing out the bananas. Or was lots of times it was apples, because we had our apple bins down in the basement too. And but I think the funniest thing about Gracie.
Okay, now wait. You said Anna. Did you mean Anna or did you mean Gracie?
I meant Gracie.
Okay,
I've
Gracie.
been saying Anna all along.
Yeah, it was Gracie that did that.
It was Gracie that did it. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was Gracie. But the funniest thing about Gracie, I think, is the story Maisie tells about when we went swimming at Lake Erie.
Come on over here, Mom. Tell us about Lake Erie.